Welcome to The Explainer. You ever feel like an ad was made just for you? Well, guess what? It probably was. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and reveal the strategic blueprint marketers use to build brands that connect so deeply, it almost feels like they're reading your mind. This one idea, it's the absolute foundation of pretty much all modern marketing. See, it's not about shouting to the masses anymore. Nope, it's about whispering to the right people. And that is exactly why your favorite brands seem to just get you. I mean, think about it. In today's super crowded market, a product that's supposedly for everyone is pretty much destined to be for no one, you know? If you try to appeal to everybody, you just end up creating something so bland that it doesn't really excite anybody. So how do brands solve this puzzle? Well, they use this proven three-step framework. It's called STP. That stands for segmentation, targeting, and positioning. And trust me, this is the master blueprint. All right, let's break down exactly how it works. Okay, step one. You've got to map the entire market. It's like you can't just go and try to conquer a territory without understanding the lay of the land, right? You need to know the geography, the people, all the different neighborhoods. This is kind of like the reconnaissance phase. So what marketers call this is segmentation. It's really just a fancy word for strategically slicing up a huge, diverse market into these smaller, much more manageable groups. And the key is that everyone in a group shares similar needs or wants. And there are tons of ways they can slice up this market map. But these four, these are the classics. They can group you by where you live, geography, or by who you are, your age, income, that kind of thing. That's demographics. They can look at your lifestyle and values. That's psychographics. Or, and this one is a huge one, they can group you by the specific benefit you're actually looking for in a product. Now, that last one, benefit segmentation, it's arguably the most powerful of them all. Just think about something simple like toothpaste. Seriously, not everyone buys it for the same reason, right? Are you looking for a super bright smile? Boom, you're in the whitening segment. Are you more worried about cavities? Then you're in the decay prevention segment. See? Each group is looking for a totally different promise from the same type of product. All right, so you've got your detailed market map all laid out. What's next? Well, now you have to choose your destination. You just can't be everywhere at once. It's impossible. And this is what we call targeting. It's that decisive moment where you plant your flag and select the group or groups that represent the most valuable territory for your brand to go after. And this is where a company faces a fundamental choice. On one hand, you could try mass marketing. One product for absolutely everyone. But that's super rare and almost never works these days. Or you can do what the smart companies do. Differentiated marketing. Take a company like Whole. They don't just sell soap. No way. They sell Lux to the beauty segment and Lifebuoy to the health-conscious segment. Completely different targets, totally different products. So the key takeaway here is that targeting is anything but random. It's a hardcore strategic calculation. A company literally looks at that map and asks itself, okay, where do our unique strengths perfectly line up with what a group needs? Where can we actually win? And that is the battle they choose to fight. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most creative step of all. So you've mapped the market, you've chosen your target. Now it's time to own a piece of real estate inside their mind. And you do that by telling a story that makes your brand feel like the only choice. This classic quote from the guys who basically invented the idea of positioning says it all. The real battle isn't happening on the store shelf. It's happening inside the consumer's head. Positioning isn't really about the product itself. It's about creating this super clear, distinct, and desirable image of your brand compared to everyone else out there. So how do they actually do that? Well, first, they have to establish what are called points of parity. Think of these as the table stakes, the must-have features that even get you in the game. For Savlon to even compete with Dettol, for example, it had to prove it was a real antiseptic. That's just the baseline. But the winning move? That's creating a powerful point of difference. And Savlon's big idea, its masterstroke, was that no sting attribute. That one simple, memorable idea set it apart and gave it a totally unique spot in the market. But Getting this positioning right is a real high wire act. It's tricky. One of the big ways to fail is something called underpositioning. This is when a brand just has no distinct identity at all. It's just background noise, a blurry, forgettable choice that doesn't stand for anything special. And then there's the opposite trap, overpositioning. This is what happens when your brand story is too narrow, too specific. You might succeed in being seen as this super premium, specialized brand, but you run the risk of convincing a whole bunch of potential customers that you're too expensive or just plain not for them, even when you totally could be. So there you have it, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. With those 3 steps, the blueprint is totally complete, and this is the hidden architecture, the secret sauce behind pretty much every single successful brand you know and love. And once you really get this STP framework, it's like you suddenly have a new kind of X-ray vision. For real. You can look right past the glossy ads, past the catchy jingles, and you can see the cold, hard strategy working underneath. You start to see how every single product, from the car you drive to the coffee you drink, has been carefully, deliberately aimed at a very specific person. And that leaves us with a final thought, kind of like a challenge for you. The next time you feel that pull, that strong connection to a brand or a product, just stop for a second and ask yourself, why me? What segment do I belong to? How exactly did they target me? And what was the story they told to plant this product so perfectly in my mind? Because now you know the blueprint, and you'll start to realize you're not just some random customer. You are the selected few.